Hey everyone, Aaron here, and this is a vlog number 6. So how have you guys been? You girls also, how have you all been? It's been a long, long week. I kid you not. The other day, I'm as many of you probably know, I had my interview the other day. It went well, to tell you guys, it went well. But it was very long. I was there at the place for I want to say almost 4 hours filling out paperwork and various things, and that's just I was so beat that yesterday I got home and I was like, am I even gonna upload one of my reviews? I don't know if I was lucky that I actually had a review already put to the side, because I actually had done 2 weeks ago. I did a whole bunch of reviews just so in case anything happened, I could just plop them out. And literally, that's what I just put up. I put up the first review that I was like, oh wait, it's perfect order. It works out. I was like, okay, let's go Nisekoi. Unfortunately, I noticed like Nisekoi, their actual anime, the review that I put up, got like 3 views. I think 2 views technically. One of them probably was me, and then another person was another person. And then I think maybe the other one was probably me again, having to respond to someone. But I was disappointed that that's terrible. But it happens, Sometimes you make videos that aren't, per se. Nisekoi, I don't think was the best review to do, per se. I don't think a lot of people like it in terms of anything, but you know, winners, losers, it's a big deal. Anyways, let's talk about what I'm going to talk about today, which, if you already saw the intro card, I'm going to talk about anime characters. Now, I'm actually going to link in the description box below Anime Dude. He's a cool guy. He does a lot of videos, different things, let's plays. He talks just about different things, almost like vlogs, like I do. But he's more on the camera and stuff like that. But honestly, it wasn't like I'm trying to steal his idea, but I actually had already planned to do something where I want to talk about anime characters, and he talked about it first, and I was like, "Oh, you stole my idea." No, he didn't steal my idea, but I'm gonna. He goes, "This way, at least we both get credit." I want him to get, people look at his videos if you haven't seen it already, and you look at mine, and can compare and contrast what we're gonna say. Now, my biggest thing with anime characters is typically one thing you'll always hear me say in all my reviews, and it's something that's unavoidable. It's something that I have to say it is you have your average typical high school student, high school girl, guy, doesn't matter. It's always that atypical high school title. And that's one of my biggest issues with anime in general is that when I was in high school or even junior high, the high school student concept wasn't a big deal. It was something that to me was cool in many ways. I think to many people that were growing up, it was cool. It's like, oh, hey, here's an older person, at least for your age, it's older, or someone that's my age, or something roughly around my age, and you can kind of associate a little bit. You can kind of delve into that character and be like, well, this is the cool version of what would happen in my high school instead of me having to deal with just generic stuff here and there. This is what's happening. But when I got to college, I noticed the trend of always seeing that kind of high school student, always seeing the high school student. It never changed. You know, there are shows that rely on it. As you see, I'm using Keon for example because I think he's got the typical anime character face that you see associated with every anime male protagonist. Like they have that same hairstyle and same face. And don't get me wrong, don't listen. I'm not as a person that doesn't do have any art skills whatsoever. I'm not saying that art is easy. Art is very hard. I know a lot of artists that are my friends who, you know, for them to draw unique characters is not an easy gig. I give them credit when they draw something that looks slightly like it's something different. But I just noticed that anime is being so produced nowadays at a huge, phenomenal rate that don't get me wrong, they've always got these cool concepts that sometimes fall majorly flat. But as cool as a lot of the anime that's coming out, you have this typical character design that I noticed. You have all these, and not even just design animation wise, but also just their portrayal, how they're portrayed, how they actually act, with persona, what they go with, what they do. It's always the same thing. You have like, again, oh, I'm bored. I'm a bored high school student until one day aliens attack, or one day robots and I jump in a robot. Don't get wrong. Like, listen, that's all cool. I've watched a lot of anime that has that starting premise, and I'm okay with it per se. But one of my biggest pet peeves is that the reliance on it. It's one thing for a show to rely on it because it's using it as a staple jump point. Like what I mean by that is you have your character set age of 17 or 18, whatever, and his typical average routine is destroyed because of some incident that happens, and lo and behold, thus gets thrown into that. It's more so I understand a little bit better, because it's like, well, he want to do it. He's not. It's not him monologuing about how boring his days are per se initially right away. It's actually sometimes where they want those calm, peaceful days until it's ruined instantaneously. Like for example, like Guilty Crown, which our main character is a typical high school student until all of a sudden all the stuff around him is just coming apart, and his world is getting rocked left and right by different things. That's okay. Even for example, Bleach. You have Ichigo. Ichigo is a high school student. What works about Bleach is that even though he's a high school student, he does not act like a high school student. He acts more so like a young man who is trying to save the world all the time. The high school drama and the high school concepts are thrown out the window because I'll be honest with you, how does Ichigo not fail every class? Like, I remember I missed several days of class in school once, and I got the biggest amount of mail going, oh, you can't miss any more school, you got to come back to school. And I was like, well, okay, I didn't get in trouble for it, but they were, saying you have to bring a doctor's note, make sure you have everything. And I'm like, okay, I had a legit reason, so I didn't get in trouble or disciplinary actions against me. But I was like, what? Ichigo misses every day to go to fight, Hollows and other, Soul Reavers. Soul Reaver. I'm thinking of Soul Reaver, like Legacy of Kain. If anyone's ever played that game, great game. But that's what I was thinking of for a second, because I was reading an article, I kid you not, like an hour ago, about them talking about making another Soul Reaver game. Anyways, you care about anime, you don't care about video games right now. Well, maybe you do care about video games, but that's not what I'm talking about. But it's just even from besides even the guy side, it's the same thing with female characters. You have the atypical female girl who's normal until something happens, and lo and behold, like for example, what I'm watching currently, and it's going to be reviewed probably, I want to say next week, Glass Slip, which has your atypical girl who actually has a power to see the future, and all of a sudden her world changes because of that. And it's like, can't you get away from that a little bit more, guys? The anime world is already filled with tropes and cliches that are like numerous. You can't escape everything. You can't escape the concepts of them. It's not at this point, everything that has been done in anime has almost been done. One of the cool shows that's coming out is a Attack on Titan, like kind of, I want to say type of show. It's called, I think, the Iron Fortress or something like that. I forgot the exact title. Another YouTuber showed videos of it recently, and I was like, whoa, this looks amazing. But at the same time, though, as unique and cool as it looked, you're like, this looks like Attack on Titan. Because unfortunately, it is Attack on Titan. In many ways, it looks and feels like it. It's done by the creators of it, of course. But that's what I'm talking about, is that, it's everything's been done already, that you can't do it again, per se, or you can't really alter it that much. It's just what really, and I had a whole video about this before, where the concepts of what you're doing is what's going to actually make the show unique. Like, what I mean by that is how you take those characters that are all tropes and cliches and weave them into the story, make the story different and unique in some way. That's what makes the show unique and different. Regardless, you're not going to have any characters per se that are different. But what I really am talking about here is that I'm just sick and tired of seeing the typical atypical characters. Like, high school students and young middle school students have been done way too much in the anime franchise, way too much. It's like, I'm so sick and tired of seeing it, really. For example, shows like It Doesn't Work, and like Absolute Duo, which is a garbage show. To avoid Absolute Duo like the plague. Again, high school students that are fighting, massive battles to survive. Why would high school students fight to survive? That made sense in the days of Battle Royale. Battle Royale is amazing. It's amazing manga. The movie was awesome for it. And it's, per se, I don't want to say an anime, but you get my concept with it. That worked because it was something different back then. Now, it doesn't work because, let's just throw high school students in a battle for their lives. You can't keep mimicking it. Once it's been done, you then have to make something unique. You know what's unique? Gantz, for example. Gantz against Battle Royale have a very similar concept. You have the students that are fighting for their lives because they, per se, were, died and they came back to life. That's where, right there. That right there is where Gantz differs from Battle Royale. Is that, high school students, but, they might be battling for their lives, but the whole premise is completely different. You can do that, but you can't just have constantly the same concepts of, hey, let's just throw our male character into the mix for whatever reason. A perfect example is Data Live, which, don't get me wrong, I like Data Live, but the main protagonist of that, I always forget his name off the top of my head. I think it's Shido. You know, he is your atypical student until all of a sudden, oh, giant girl came, not giant girl, but giant space alien battle all of a sudden happens, and a girl comes down, and stuff happens. It's the cliche. That's the cliche. It's been done before. No more. I don't want to make these vlogs about me ranting about things, but at least the initial setup of what I'm talking about in these vlogs is I just want to talk about things. And one thing is that it's unavoidable to talk about, for example, a subject like this without kind of ranting and raving. Don't get me wrong, I love anime. I review it as a hobby. I mean, how would I not love it? But I just hate it for the sheer fact, that there is so much you could do with anime, so many unique things that are pushed to the side because, oh, here, let's just take our atypical high school students and throw them into a situation that has been done a million times. It's annoying to me. It really is. But what, to me, if I was to, here's where I kind of get away from the rant and let me talk about something here. What would I do different with characters? Number one, start with some college students. College kids is not that old. Like, listen, you can be a 20-year-old college student and save the world just like a 17-year-old high school student. What's the difference? For example, Golden Time, that has a college student being a romance story. That was awesome. It was a great romance story. It's one of my favorites. That worked perfectly fine. You had a college student in the situation that usually is thrown into high school students for anime. You see what I'm saying? Have it where one of the biggest changes you can make, college students. College students can save the day too. You can have them piloting robots just as good as the 17-year-old, 16-year-old that are now piloting for whatever reason. You can have it. Okay, it's not a big deal. Another thing, have them where, okay, maybe if they're not all college students, do something like Gate, which, Gate, if you haven't known, is an anime about a taku who's like 35 years old, who is saving the day because he's in the military. That's unique. That is amazing because of that. The show's not that great, but that right there is awesome. He's a 35-year-old as a main character. How often do you see that? It's something that's rare. Have it where biggest thing is age. Change the ages up, folks. Why is it so hard to have, and this is what I stress out, why is it so hard to have a slightly older person doing a character role that you have for a character that's a younger one? Like, I don't understand that. Why is that an issue? Another thing is maybe alter some hairstyles once in a while, guys. The people who make anime, I love spiky hair. I think that's cool, but it needs to be changed a little bit. Spiky hair all the time. You don't have to make like long flowing locks of hair per se, but change it up a little bit. My biggest thing out of this is that there are slight changes that you can make here and there with characters, and you'd be surprised how much difference that would make for the whole show. One thing I loved about Attack on Titan, for example, is, yeah, they have, per se, I want to say cliched concepts for characters, in terms of like, tough guy versus, the tough girl, but the character designs, the character concepts are unique. They are. The way they look is unique. That's another thing, that's the thing. So, put it this way, and this will be the end of this, vlog. Age, where they are in life per se, so college, job, whatever, and just the way they look, just change it up a little bit. I think with those concepts, you can change the anime franchise into something that's just a little different from what it is now, because I'm starting to grow tired of just seeing the atypical stuff. I'm sorry to get I've skipped a lot of anime recently just because it's, oh, here we go, another high school student thrown to save the world. Oh, right. I'm getting tired of that, honestly. So I watch stuff that has unique, like Gate. I'm watching stuff like Last Slip, for example. Yeah, that does have a high school student in it, but I'm watching that because that's, to me at least, something different in terms of the actual plot. And don't get me wrong, you're not going to avoid it completely. You're going to still have high school students saving the day. It's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, once in a while, change it up a little bit. It's not that hard to do. And if you do that, you'll find that I think the anime industry will boom a little bit more, because, hey, you might get other people to watch it. I mean, For example, Berserk. My dad loves Berserk. He thinks it was amazing. That character starts off as not a 17-year-old, but I think his mid-20s. That is cool. That works so much better. You know, it just has it where it shows a little more maturity. You know what I mean? You can get a bigger audience to have a little maturity. It's just like anything else, which leads me into a segue of what my next vlog topic is going to be, and that is actually, wait for it. I don't know off the top of my head. I forgot actually. I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna end this vlog just like that. So next vlog topic, I don't know what's gonna be. I'll have to figure it out. I'm so sorry. I kid you not. It's like 9:30 in the morning. So I mean, I'm kind of beat. I didn't really sleep last night, but yeah, that's it for today's vlog. I hope. Yeah, I had this whole thing going for it, and I really was, and I'm like, wow, train of thought completely gone. It happens though, right? That's why I love doing these vlogs, because it lets me talk, and if I make a mistake, I don't have to go, oh, I gotta cut it out now. Listen, I'm making a mistake. Big deal. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a great week. Christmas is right around the corner. Also, today, around, I want to say maybe 7 or 8 o'clock, there's a video that's going to come up. It's for one specific YouTuber. She lives in a different time zone, so I'm trying to time it with that, per se. That video, per se, is for her, but it's going to be public, so you guys can watch it. I think it's going to give her some advertisement, per se, for her channel. I hope it does. It's my best thank you I can give to her in terms of, for everything she's helping with the channel and support. I'm not going to say who it is yet. She probably knows already. She probably watched this video if she does, and then she's going to know who she is. But check that video out when it comes out, please. It's going to be simple, but it's going to be fun, I think. Anyways, guys, that's it. Talk to y'all later. Have great weeks. I hope everything goes your way well. I probably won't have a vlog out next week because it's the Christmas holidays time period, so I'm not going to be able to do it. But I will have those top 10s and all that stuff coming out. Don't worry, I'll have content coming out to you guys. Anyways, take care, everyone. Bye.